All right.
I'll be right back.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm here, Al Simpson, for Vampires in New Jersey, my comic, my script that became a comic that became a film. Um, it's been, I guess I wrote the first draft in 2015 or right thereabouts um, while I was working on my dissertation. And looks like we're finally at the point where we can turn that script from a comic. Oh, there's Craig. Let me bring him in. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing, Al? Good to see you.
Yeah. Jessica, this is Craig.
Nice
My
Hi,
to meet you,
Craig.
first
Jessica.
my first film, bro.
Hi.
Absolutely. Nice to
We
meet you.
we shot we shot something in 2003, I think it was,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah, we're ancient. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it flies by,
Uh,
doesn't
yeah.
it?
He's a writer, director, producer, film guy too. Jessica is associated with all types of media on the West Coast. She's out in California. It's nice for her to drop in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also
Uh,
an Artist Alley coordinator for a show now, too.
really?
Yeah.
Is there
San
anything you
Diego
don't
Comic
do?
Fest.
Yeah, awesome. Um, since we're on, before we launch, what did I do? You still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not used to this laptop. I hit a button, everything went blank. So I'm not going to hit any more buttons. Um, Jessica, tell us about your experience and love of film and media, just so people get an idea, excuse me, an idea of what you do.
Oh, gosh. Oh, wow. That's a big question.
Too much, too soon? All right, I'll
Oh,
let you think
yeah.
about it. Craig
Yeah.
loves talking. So,
Yeah.
Craig, tell me about your. I know how much you love film in general, but just what inspires you and what your experience has been.
You know, what did I remember when I was 10 years old and when I was living in Philly and I saw Rocky. I was in the movie theater seeing Rocky.
Right.
And it had such an impact on me, that film. I didn't know that. I think I knew at 10 that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, but I didn't
Mhm.
have, my parents were supportive, but I didn't really have the guidance, um, or the support or like a role model, like somebody that I could really, especially at 10,
Right.
so, um, but as the years progressed and, writing for newspapers and stuff like that, I think the one thing that really inspired me was my dissatisfaction with so much of the garbage that's made. And I always said in the back, even though I didn't know how to do it, I didn't know per
Yeah.
se how to write a great script at the time. I knew what horrible looked like, and that motivated me because I was like, I know I could do better, than so much of the
Right.
garbage that's made.
Right.
And anyway, I guess that would be like my motivation is just creating something that's original, that's different, that nobody's either never seen before, or it's something like a different spin on something that is outside the box and original, and
Yeah.
that's for me.
Yeah. And as far as horrible, you mean like horrible, horrible, not good, bad, which I think all of us have like, movies that people would consider like not good movies, but we love them because they're so ridiculous.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's movies that have like a tremendous amount of entertainment. Like I don't know why Clerks comes to like, almost the top of that list. Like Clerks, I saw
Mm,
that in the movie theater, and
yeah.
if you break down like all the elements of it,
Right.
um, it's so there's so much basicness to it, but it works on so many levels because
Yep.
it's real, and it's fresh, and despite some of the this and that, and I'm not looking to pick anything apart on the movie. That film is so inspiring on so many
Yeah.
levels. So, but that would just be like an example of something that's very original, even though maybe the production value wasn't amazing, and you didn't
Right.
have top notch actors. Not knocking anybody, but it was just still like a home run. It was a cult classic that you watch and you watch again, or you look at The Breakfast Club, right? Like on the other spectrum, it's like
Yep.
I watch The Breakfast Club usually like once a year, and every time I watch it, I'm like, it holds up today just as good as it did back in, what was it, 85, 84?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Chasing Amy was one of my favorite movies. I'm gonna date myself, like
It's all right.
teenager into young adult. I mean, I
Yeah.
loved Disney growing up and still love Disney as an adult. We
Mhm.
had the block, like, the first serious relationship that turned into a long-term marriage. We had the Blockbuster pass
Yeah.
with the unlimited movie rentals. We were going like 3 times a day.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So seeing all the films and pop culture, I do have to wonder if I got into comics because of how much I love Chasing Amy. I
Oh
still love
yeah.
that joke about the inker.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, I just saw
uh,
Mallrats and Clerks with Kevin Smith, so
yeah,
I'm kind of in that zone.
all good movies.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
great stuff.
I love storytelling in any capacity. Like, and then I just love seeing it brought to life by great creatives. And I love the indie space. I love grassroots. I love seeing creative people just bring their passions to life. And yeah,
It's always fun.
I'm happy to
I'm
watch
gonna
you do
I'm
it,
gonna
Al.
hit the button while we're talking, just to launch, because it's a launch party. Woohoo! You can keep talking. I had to click through a few screens.
So, how long have you been working on the script now?
Well, the first draft was probably 2015. So, but then, I told you I was working with somebody in Los Angeles last year and I rewrote it a bunch of times. So it's been a challenge. But of course, the comics themselves are written and they're out there and people are reading them and they're sold. So there is like a map of what to do as far as the movie, which is really what I wanted to do. Because like when Walking Dead came on, I saw that and I said, well, it's a zombie thing. I don't know if people will keep watching it. I watched the first episode and I said, I like it. But then I looked and I saw it was a comic and it had over 100 issues. So I said, well, that's great because they have a lot to draw from if it stays on TV. And lo and behold, what was that? Over 10 years ago now?
Yeah.
So,
Isn't that crazy?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not letting me tag it. I'm trying to tag it. Hold on just a second. But yeah, the indie space is very, very, especially in Jersey right now, is on fire. It's doing a lot. I was talking to Michael Levy from Terrifier 1 and 2 last week at the event I was at, and even he was saying it feels like something is happening with indie things. Like things are breaking through. Everybody seems to be working on a cool project. Just a lot of activity, which is great. I love it.
Are you talking specifically in the film space or the art
It
space?
seems like everything on my way to that event. This is crazy too. Guy pumped my gas, which in Jersey they pump your gas, and
Mhm.
then he went back to his little, kiosk, and he put on some music, and I heard this music, and I just go, "Wow, it's really good." It's very
Right.
motivational. So as I was driving out, I said, "Dude, that's cool that you put that on." And he goes, "Really? It's me." And I was like, "No way." So we
Oh,
started
yeah.
talking and we Instagram each other and all that. We're connected, but he does music for commercials and films and things. So
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
like a lot of like things bubbling under the, surface there.
Well, I sure do. That's how I ended up in 2 music videos and a TV show on YouTube this
Yeah.
past 6 months, year.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw you
And
posting.
it was collabing through the indie space, but the reason I kept an ear to the ground for that, I've noticed the indie space hit through the
Hmm.
comics that happened when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
I've noticed with film, I figured that same thing would happen with the strikes. And I really think creators having such a good way to be able to, I mean, I do have an MBA, I know you're highly educated as well. I've just
Yeah.
figured, that
Yeah.
would naturally happen with how much easier it is to produce your own things and people coming together and creating community for it. So,
Yeah. It's fun. All right. I finally got it lined up. So I'm just going to hit the button and we'll launch.
yay.
I hit it right.
So are you making your own
And
music for the movie too, or
what was that?
are you gonna make your own music for the movie too?
Yeah, I actually started working on the soundtrack. I wrote like 2 songs, like 2 weeks ago. While my kid's out of the country in Paris, I have a little bit. Usually, he's in the studio doing something with his friends, but I have a little time to create some music. So, yeah, I'll do some soundtrack. It always helps to be able to have something, to connect image and sound and everything to what you want to do. It's all very motivational. So, you all right there, Craig?
Yeah, I'm
Like you're moving
multitasking.
furniture.
Grab this and put this in the garage. I just brought my stepson home from soccer practice, so
Oh,
uh,
okay.
I'm the designated. I won't call
Soccer
myself
dad.
a cook. I won't call
Yeah.
myself a cook. What's that?
I said you're a soccer dad today, huh?
Soccer dad, and in charge of making cheeseburgers and
Nice.
all that
Yeah.
fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but all good, all good.
All right,
It's
we're live.
exciting, man. I'm excited for you.
Woo! Yeah, I've done a few of these. I've never done one for film though, so it's kind of risky, but the crew that did Last Known Location, Amy and Danny and Nick, they're amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you should check that movie out. It's on Tubi and Amazon. It was
Yeah, it
number
was really
6 on
good.
Amazon about 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And they shot
Last
it
note.
in Philly and Jersey, and they worked on it for 4 years, and it's like a true indie, and it broke through. So
Yeah, it was
all
really
right.
good. I was pleasantly surprised too. Not that it
Yeah.
was good. I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't a torture film.
Well,
So many of the films made today are just total garbage. Let's show a
yeah,
film of, people getting tortured and sliced up and
yeah.
and it's just like
Torture porn, they call it.
what's that?
They call it torture porn.
Yeah, it's like have a story in there, and
Yeah.
and this had a story. It wasn't like
Yeah.
let's just torture people, and
Yeah.
it was really good, and the production value is great, and and it's
Amazing.
nice to see a movie like that pop, because it
Mhm.
makes me feel like, here's people that, and not that I've met Nick. I had dinner with him, great guy.
Yeah.
I've interacted with Amy and with Danny, and they seem amazing, and everybody says how awesome they are. But to work with people that are so humble and really really good,
Yeah.
to me that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah. I was shocked. Like, I saw that. Then I'm like, they want to work with me. You know what I mean? I was like,
Why wouldn't they?
not
Why
that I
wouldn't
didn't
they?
think, well, I'm a hard worker. I will say that. And I'm willing to learn what I don't know. So that's the key to me
Oh
breaking
yeah,
through when I finally create something. But they took what you could do, like what we were trying to do 20 years ago in this area to the next level. You know what I
no,
mean? It's
sure,
really nice to see, you know,
absolutely.
and they are humble about it. Number 6 on Amazon. I was happy just to get my movies up there streaming, you know. And when I did it, I had to upload it myself, and it was back when if you were uploading to the internet, I had to upload when my family was asleep because it took all night to upload the movie. A 1-hour
Wow,
movie would take like 8 hours to upload,
it's crazy.
So things are different now, but they really do have something going on, and I'm happy that they're interested in working with me on this project because I think it'll take it, you know, somewhere higher. So
100%. It's a great idea. I mean, you have a fan base. Your comics, the graphics are like insane. I mean, I think the trick to this business, and I'm not saying anything that we don't all know, but it's like knowing what your lane is, and that was the one thing that I was really happy that I figured out. It's like you don't
yeah,
have to be great at lighting, you don't have to be great at sound, you don't have to be great at, just be really really good at least one thing,
mhm,
and know your strengths, and you surround
yeah,
yourself with people that are outstanding in the other areas that
yeah,
you like working with, and if you have that chemistry, and I had that in my set time. I mean, we had just the most amazing crew, and the actors were awesome, and it was just, I only made one full feature, but it was like the most amazing experience of my entire life. Like
yeah,
if I could do that full time, you know, that would, you know, I wish that for you. I mean, to be able to have the film that pops, and you know, I'm so happy for your whole team, because you know they also made that movie, the woman in the room, which
Right.
was blew me away as well. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
the
was incredible
lighting and
too.
the sound on that was insane. It was incredible.
Yep.
So, you know, you have a super solid team, man. And you're
Yeah.
an awesome dude, you know? So it's like when you
You
have
too.
creative people that want to make art, you know? What's that, buddy?
You too, Jessica.
Oh, thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, I appreciate all your kind words, man. I mean, we've always been supportive of each other, and you know,
Yeah.
for a lot of reasons. You know, you're a talented person, and you're also a really great guy, and you know, you really do deserve to have your work out there, and so people can see it. You know,
Well, you too. You know.
I appreciate that. I mean, to be able to impact somebody, to me, there's not a better feeling than when you make something. You created the art, you created the words, you brought the characters to life. And when
Yeah.
you're in the theater, Al, when you're in the movie theater at the premiere of this, you know,
Yep.
and you see people either laughing or crying or scared,
Yeah.
man, goosebumps all over your body from head to toe. It's like it's the most incredible feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty wild. So yeah, Jessica, how do you end up on so many different types of projects? That's pretty interesting work.
Um,
This is just networking, or you hear about
I'm a
this and then you
connections
hear about that.
fairy.
And, yeah.
Yeah, connections fairy. I think that master's in business. I have a really good eye, ear to the ground of like, I don't know, being able to see what's gonna hit, seeing those good synergies between
Hmm.
people and, you know, being willing to collaborate with good
Yeah.
people, you
Yeah.
know. Um, Plus I find art is healing. Like it's for me, I do it because I want to be part of the art.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really find that I do it for the money. Like I don't
Yep.
really feel, you know what I mean? Money would be great.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yep.
always good, but to me it's about the art and like seeing that baby be born,
Yep.
just being a small part of it. You know, I've been part of the art world since a kid growing up in Woodstock, New York, in one way or another. Always a big part of music, art. I mean, sold my own first piece of art in a gallery in Woodstock, New York in fourth grade.
Wow.
I went to Woodstock 94 as well and, you know, did some
Wow.
art pieces on, yeah, my mom snuck me in. I'm going to age myself here. I was in fourth grade. You
Yeah, that
know,
was a
did some
party.
handprints on big murals and did different
Yeah.
things, was in the mud.
Oh
Yeah.
I
wow!
ended up
94 was the nice one.
I mean, that was the nice one. I ended up in the mud, and then I went to Burning Man, not this year, but the year before, and it got muddy, and everyone was freaking out. I'm like, it's just mud. There was mud at
Yeah.
94, you know? But I went for the art. It's always been about the art, you know? I was married to an artist. I managed an art career for over a decade, you know, did
Mm.
art direction, and
Yep.
then just been finding, you know, through a separation, I've been finding my own way in the art world
Right.
and ended up more in music again, finding that's because being in music as a kid, had a goal of like, hey, maybe I could do some shoots or do some modeling, and then ended up in 3 shoots with some people that I knew through the comic and, you know, other industry, which was kind of cool. The first music video I was in has what 700,000-800,000 hits just on YouTube.
Wow.
You know, and I was just an extra, but I got featured a good bit on that. Ended up in the next one,
Mm.
in the trailers, you know, and then the other stuff. And I'm like, maybe I should get some headshots and do some more stuff now because I wasn't even
Mm.
trying that hard. But it's all about the art. Like it's just always been just in having fun and I don't know, just I like dressing up with a fairy with some wings, some sexy
Yeah.
stuff and
Yeah.
having fun. And then I find people and we talk and then things happen later.
Yeah. That's cool. Very cool.
That's cool. Very cool.
you, you know, that's what I do when I'm not, you know, being a mom.
Right. Right.
It brings balance to my life.
Mm.
But you know, you know, I've always loved art and pinup art and
That's cool.
so loved your stuff for a while too.
Yeah. I got to get back to that. I have, I haven't done a Kickstarter or anything for comics in a while. So I haven't done a Kickstarter or anything for comics in a while. So I haven't done a Kickstarter or anything for comics in a while. So I have, I have a ton of stories I've written. I just haven't been able to get to them because I'm trying to refocus exactly what my business model is, you know, what I want to put out there. And, you know, when you're indie, you can't do 10 different things. You got to focus on one at a time. So
Absolutely.
for this year, between this and the convention, that'll be, you know, that'll be a fair amount of work. I might be able to do a couple other things, but yeah, I've been lucky to work with artists because I don't draw. You know what I mean? But they've been able to create from my ideas some brilliant stuff. You know,
Yeah.
so
Oh, I've
like,
done some art direction on some of your covers.
yeah. Well, that's why they're so awesome.
Aw.
Mhm.
Artists too. The artist did a good job. I did some art direction on that. That was
Yeah,
fun. I had a
yeah,
lot of fun with that and watching them ink it and stuff. But
mm,
I think the direction you're going with the film and, doing the convention is pretty cool because that's kind of like the next level up. And that's kind of how I bridged from like the comic book community going towards the film community is I really paid attention. I mean, I'm a business geek at heart. That's literally where my passion is even more. And
yeah.
my major was accounting. So
Really?
yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah, I
amazing.
mean my I've done internal audit for banks, government healthcare consulting, financial reporting and monitoring, like all this
Wow.
type of stuff.
Yeah, that's businessy, all right.
So that's why I kind of catch things and have a good eye for things. So like I think that's a good move because a lot of really good films, not just saying Marvel DC stuff, but a lot of other stuff actually the story started in comics. And
Right.
then they switched to film and that's kind of how they leveled up. And you know, I'm going to sound horrible saying this, but I hear this so often. There's no money in comics. There
Yeah,
can be money in comics, but it's hard. It can be rare, and But if you want to grow it, bringing it to the next steps that you're bringing it to from a business standpoint, in my opinion, seems like a great step that you're taking.
yeah. But
So
it's most of what I've done has been organic in that I get feedback from, from the people that are interested in what I'm doing, and then I try and do that. Like the convention was about people wanted to cosplay the characters.
I
So
want to do that.
yeah, I was like, all right, what are we gonna do? And they're like, oh, we're gonna have Alton Simpson Day. And I was like, that sounds lame. I said, why don't we have a Vampires in New Jersey convention? They were like, that sounds better. So, we'll be doing a third one in November. So that should be a lot of fun. Gives me plenty of time to ramp it up, you know.
That's awesome. And I
And there's
think
so
it's really
many horror and film and music people in between New York, Jersey, and Philly. You know, it's a lot of fun. And I get people from like Walking Dead that want me to fly them in and stuff, and I'm like, it's a local thing mostly. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, but it's a good time.
Yeah. And then seeing your characters come to life with the film is going to be really awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of going to be. Well, I was freaking out when Kara did the cosplay for me the first time. I was like, "Wow, that's Wanda. That's her." You know what I mean? So, yeah, it should be pretty wild seeing them come to life. You know, but I don't know. They've gotten popular with people, so everybody should enjoy it. I guess the next step after we get the funding is casting and all that. So
That's
it'll get
fun.
busier as we go.
Casting's like to me is like one of the most fun parts of the whole process, in my opinion. I mean, we casted
Mm.
everybody in my film, and man, it's just it's hard though when you get two people that you love the same. Me and my director, we had a rule. There were like three of us. Do you mind me
Yeah.
interjecting with this? I don't know if this is interesting or
Oh, go
do you
ahead.
like this stuff, Al? We
Yeah,
had
of course.
when we were doing time, we had most of the parts we didn't have a hard time casting. There were a couple that were really, 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 really hard. And the director and I, like we agreed, if it came down to it, we just had to agree on who we wanted. But on like one specific role, was we both loved opposite people. We had it down to four, two for each
Right.
role. And but the cool thing is, and I don't know if this ever happened to you, but one of the guy who played Peter in our film, it was
Right.
one of the last people we casted. I met with him outside this prison in Philly, right?
Yeah.
And Peter Patricios is he's one of the most talented actors in Philly. He's incredible.
Right.
And we're having coffee and he's auditioning for me. Now I wrote the script, so I know the script inside and out. We're hanging
Right.
out and he's auditioning for me. He was so good that the words that he's saying, which I wrote, like I
Mhm.
completely forgot
that he's reading my words. Like
Yeah.
his acting was so good. I
It's
felt like I was
believable.
hanging out with the character. I
Yeah.
was like, man, it was so surreal. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. And it was just like, I called my director because he wasn't there. I was like, listen, we got to go with Peter Patricus. Just trust me
Yeah.
on this one. He's the
He
man
is
to
that.
play this
He
part.
is that.
And he grand slam home run right out of the park. I mean, he was just an amazing guy too. I mean, just an amazing actor, and it's just surreal. To this day, it's like I'll remember that memory. It was like 12 years ago. I'll remember it like it was yesterday. It was so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, the craziest thing about these Kickstarters and crowdfunders is you always want to look at it to see what it's doing,
Sure.
but I've done 12 of them and I've learned not to look at it and just keep promoting it because it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. I mean, I've literally had somewhere, they reached like this plateau and then a couple people pull the money out and it just drops like a ridiculous amount. So, and if you take that, too seriously, you get all
The
emotional.
highs and lows will kill you.
Yeah. So I kind of I know if I post, if I run a campaign marketing wise, it'll support it. Usually the second or third week is the weak spot where things aren't moving at all. And you're like, oh my God, the whole thing stopped. And then the last few days, things speed up again for, a lot of reasons, but mostly because the crowdfunding website is starting to promote you a little bit more because they want you to have a big finish.
Mm.
So
When does that go live? The Kickstarter, is that going to go live today?
I just hit the button, Craig.
Beautiful. That's what I thought you did. So
Yeah, I
people
did
will
it
be able to.
while we're on. I like to do
Sweet.
it while we're on talking.
Yeah. Well, I'll
So,
definitely go on and
exciting.
spread the love and do whatever I
Yeah.
can. We got to get this thing out there. And
Yeah, we signed up 120 people, which I thought was pretty good to start.
yeah.
And usually that helps you hit your goal quicker if you have a lot of signups. So we'll see. And I threw some comics on there, and some other cool stuff. Kill a vampire, get killed by a
I
vampire.
love that. That's cool. The killer could be killed by a vampire. That's smart. I
Well,
like
one
that.
of my,
That's really
one of
cool.
my fans, Jason Weber, I posted him the other day. He was wearing a Vampires t-shirt.
Sure.
He'd said to me like 8 months ago, he's like, oh, it'd be cool if Fallon could kill me in a movie as a vampire. And I was like, yeah, that does sound cool. And we posted with Fallon. And Fallon's really cool. She hosted the last convention with me, and she does
Nice.
film too. She has her own film, Sucks to Suck, I think, that she's been working on for a while. It's a vampire like comedy type film, and then she's doing other stuff too. But yeah, the opportunity to work with her, and then with Uncle Creepy from Terrifier and in the George Romero films. It's a gift. I've been very lucky.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I would definitely recommend if you want any recommendations is definitely utilize good cop, bad cop when casting. It works great because the one thing that's the hardest thing in this is you become friends with a lot of people,
Well, yeah.
and you build relationships. And I remember this one guy, Matt, who I was really good friends with. I even named one of the characters Matt, right? And I was like, this is your part as long as you're good. I was like, you're a friend. I've known you a long time, but you got to knock it out of the park. It's not about friendship. It's about, the right person.
Right.
Long story short, after 30 days, and I waited forever to cast it, and he was okay, and thank God for my director. My director didn't like him, and we held out and we got somebody that was outstanding. And Matt doesn't talk to me anymore, but hey, it's all about the film, And
well, a good friend would have realized that the film comes first.
Absolutely. Well, he was a friend. He wasn't a good friend, but yeah.
Okay.
So
there is a line there. But yeah, I know what you mean. I'm all about whatever makes everything better. I mean, originally I prefer to be not involved in much of anything, but when you're doing indie stuff, you got to pitch in and do what you can do, So that's how it is. If you want to get across the finish line, you got to, do a bunch of different things. So
I have a friend that was on set recently with someone that was cast who was like definitely probably a friend, the main person.
Right.
They couldn't remember the lines at the end. They ended up having to hold cards up because the main character couldn't remember the lines and they kept having to do things so often.
Well, yeah, that's Brando in The Godfather. He had lines all over the place. Yeah. Well,
it's frustrating sometimes when you
as
see
long as
that.
it looks good on film,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I just saw you saw Gladiator Part 2, and
Yeah.
Al,
My kids dragged me. They were like, "We
yeah,
got
well,
to go
you
see this." I was like, "All right."
that's on Paramount Plus now, and you actually liked it, and I ended up seeing it, and
Yeah.
I won't mention I'm not into saying anything negative about any
Yeah.
actors or actresses.
Yeah.
That's not what I do.
Yeah.
But there was an act. I'll just say there was a performer in the film. It was a small role. It was a small on the smaller role side, and like
Yeah.
there was some great acting in the film. I thought the film
Yeah.
was good, not great, but there
Yeah.
was one
Well, it's
role. There
hard.
was
It's hard to compete with Gladiator.
The
Just
first one
calling
was
it
so much
Gladiator
better.
2 is a step down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
for
even
sure. They should have probably called it something else, so it wasn't like per se a sequel.
yeah.
I don't know that that would have mattered. I mean, if it had a great script, but my point was there was one person who had a small role in it, and there must have been a huge check that was written because I was like out
Oh
of
yeah.
all the actors that are out there, and here's the other thing too for me, Al, and it's like I don't know if you can relate to this, and
Yeah.
and you as well, Jessica. It's like 20, what was it, like almost 30 years goes by since the first Gladiator came out,
Yeah.
right? And I know you love Gladiator. I know you really, really like Gladiator too. And I thought wasn't bad. It didn't blow me away. But like if 30 years goes by between the original and the remake, and you've got millions of amazing writers on this planet, and I'm not
Oh,
knocking
yeah.
per se the writers, whoever decided on the script,
Yeah.
producers, the whole team, it's like how do you have Denzel Washington, who's like one of the best actors on the planet.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of the actor on the other side. He did a really great job. I mean, it really,
Yeah,
for the
it was
most
good.
part, from top to bottom, the acting was great, production value is great. Like, why don't you invest in a really good, solid story?
Well, it's Scott, Ridley Scott, right? Isn't he the
Yeah,
guy?
he directed it. I don't know if
Yeah,
he.
but it's his baby. I mean, the whole
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
is him. Whatever
for
he wanted to
sure.
do, because the other was successful, they let him pretty much do what he
Run the
wanted.
ship. Yeah,
So that whenever that happens, I always find the movie's not as tight as it could be because they give them too much leeway.
yeah, that could
Sometimes
be it.
not having anything. For instance, if you compare Clerks to Mallrats, Clerks is very tight because Kevin Smith didn't have anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mallrats is a little looser, but does that make it better? And I think between the two, he learned, I know how to tighten things up so that it gets more impact, and that's Chasing Amy.
right,
And you can see
right.
the
That's a good
progression.
point.
You know
That's
what
a
I
good
mean?
point.
And I find when people get everything they want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's oh, what's up, Jason? Jason says I just mentioned him. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes when you get everything you want, it's too much. It's just too, and you don't need a lot of that, you know. That's the best thing about indie. You try and make things work, and sometimes that sparkles,
Yeah.
you know. Last location, last known location, Amy and Danny's movie, that's a perfect example. That was a labor of love where they focused on it for 4 years when they had free time, you know.
It's
So
amazing,
there was
right?
no like extra, there's not like a lot of left on the cutting room floor. It's very specific, and I think
Yeah.
that sharpened the focus for the film. So yeah, Gladiator 2 30 years later sounds ridiculous. I mean, they're doing Lethal Weapon 6 now, I think.
I heard they're
That's
doing
Hollywood.
Braveheart Part 2.
If Hollywood thinks they can milk it,
Yeah,
they'll milk it. That's
for
what they
sure.
do.
That's why
And
we're gonna
people
make a
go to see
vampire
it.
movie.
They'll stop doing Batmans when people stop going to see Batman, but they're not
Yeah.
stopping. So,
I think
there's
they're gonna
logic
stop.
in it, but you're taking a risk.
I think they'll stop Batman movies when people stop going to Disneyland.
Well, you can almost not afford Disney now, but
That's true.
but yeah, people do love it. Actually do love Disneyland. I've
Yeah.
been to Disney World more. I've been to Disneyland like once, I think, maybe twice. But yeah, you can't knock them trying something. So, but it's a risk. It's a risk either way. It's a big risk with a lot of money. I mean, $200 million Waterworld. I mean, where half the things sank, But Kevin Costner, won an Oscar for Dancing with Wolves. I mean, the quality is like always around with these big productions. Like you said, you got Denzel, you got this, you got that. It's just a question of whether that's going to be able to get through all the other, distractions. So, But
one of the things that I always say to myself, like when I'm writing and I'm like I've tried, I'm like working on another one and I keep starting it and restarting it and it's like, no, it's not good enough, or it's
well,
too
yeah,
contrived, or
it's a
it's
grasp.
too,
Yeah,
yeah, and it's like I'm having like the worst writer's block I've ever had in my entire life, just because of just over analyzing things.
Mhm.
But it's when you're writing a story and you're just in that zone, you're just complete. I don't know if you can relate to this, Jessica, but you're like completely just, we're out in this zone where like the character hijacks you. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, like where they
Yeah,
actually,
they
like, this is
possess
gonna sound
you.
retarded, they jump in your body almost
Yeah,
literally,
yeah,
and you're not even writing anymore. The character like possesses you. Exactly
yeah,
right, Al.
yeah.
And you write like 5 pages and you're like, oh my God, how
Where
did
did
that
that come
happen?
from? Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
it happens to me
insane.
too.
It's so cool.
It's usually when I'm doing dialogue with like 3 or 4 different characters, and then I walk out of the room. I'm like, I have like multi-personality disorder or something. I just
Maybe,
had
right?
4 totally different people talking, having like all kinds of fun and goofing around or whatever, or fighting or
Yeah,
it's interesting when you get into that spot. You know.
for sure.
I don't do a lot of writing. I haven't, well, for years, but I would like to maybe get back into it. But I do get that from an art creative space also, like
Mhm.
just with my business magic that I can do. I call that like tapping into your subconscious.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's really what I do, like, and it does require, like, you said getting into your head, like getting out of your head and really just flowing. And like, I work really hard to try to find that zen in that spot and like
Yeah.
be able to do that. I have a lot of artists and creative friends, and like being able to help them get there when needed and through
Yeah.
things. And that's kind
If
of like the
I can
magic
relax,
of
I can do
mine.
it. Yeah. If I can find that
Yeah.
relaxing place where I can just free my mind, I can create. But it takes a lot to get to that spot, you know.
Yeah, I've found that just being around so many creatives, I have a little magic talent of helping people get there too sometimes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah,
kind
I can
of,
see that,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Like if I have a good friendship with them, especially.
Mhm.
So, but I love that spot just for myself for whatever endeavor I'm on or doing. So,
Yeah. Very cool.
such a good feeling. Such a good feeling.
Yeah, positive vibes. So I'm not going to hold you guys up much longer. Craig, I know you're working on projects. You have anything you want to tell the people?
Well, my film time is now on. I hate plugging myself. I mean, like I
This is the time.
appreciate it.
This is the part where you plug stuff.
Yeah. All right. I'll do it. You twisted
Movie
my arm a
business.
little bit. You
You
did a
want
little
them to
bit. You twisted
stream?
my arm.
Yeah.
So, well, Elevation Movies, Time is the first platform that we're on right now. First of
Okay.
hopefully many. It's on elevationmovies.com, and people can watch it for free. It's a full feature.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a piece of 10. It's got, some people kind of compare it to like Breakfast Club is one of my favorite films. So I wouldn't even say it's in the same atmosphere. Not being humble here. I mean, Breakfast Club is Breakfast Club, but
Yeah.
it's kind of, some people say like Breakfast Club for grown-ups.
Oh, nice.
It has elements of 12 Angry Men, but it's about 10 strangers stuck together in a hospital waiting room, and it's
Right.
called Time.
Yep.
Some of them like each other, some of them hate each other. It's about life, love, regret. One of them is like a diehard racist who hates everybody. One of the main characters is gay. Peter Patricios plays that character. He's a children's
Yeah.
book writer. A lady's a Christian, diehard, lots of faith,
Yeah.
atheist guy. And it's just like a melting
Like
pot.
real
And it's
life.
just a lot of angst, especially right now with everything that's going on in the world. It's been
Yeah.
going on in the world, but especially recently. I think it's relevant. It's an important story because it's about life, and it's about characters, and it's about just loss, and just so many different things,
Mhm.
that are relevant. But yeah, I'm kind of right now. So that's on elevationmovies.com. We're looking to get it on Tubi and some other platforms in the next few months.
Cool.
Um, so that's exciting. But yeah, and I'm working on a rock and roll story,
Yeah, I remember
that,
that.
yeah, I'm really passionate about it. I'm trying to decide which direction I want to go on it. It's father, son, like unrealized dreams. Dad's
Mhm.
like in his, late 40s, early 50s, and he's as good as the best of the best out there, but he's not discovered yet, like so many
Yep.
of us,
Yep.
and so I'm just trying to figure out which direction I want to go on it, but it's going to be, I want it to be real in terms of, I want it to have like that feel of like almost famous. I want it to feel like you're there, like
Yep.
you're
In the
part
moment.
of the film. Yeah, you're captured by the music. I started doing it. I wanted to, I found this amazing lead singer who's incredible, and I wanted to shoot the whole film around him.
Mhm.
But when I met with him, great guy, amazing musician, he just, I'll just say it just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to have to do it more in a script. But I think when doing a music film, it's so important to get the real singers, the real musicians, as
Yeah, it's
opposed
key.
to somebody. That's so key. So that's going to be a must for me. Whoever the lead actor is, they have to be, a really good singer and
Mhm.
play the instrument and all that stuff. It has to be authentic. Because
Yep.
if it's not authentic, then it just loses so much.
Yeah, it won't come through the screen to people. You want
Exactly.
it to just
So
come right through like you're
and I
there.
want and I want the audience to feel the music and appreciate the music and the story, and it's like as I write, in anything that I've done in the last 30 years, as I write, it's like in the back of my mind is, would I want to see this film? Like would
Right.
would this be something that I'd want to see?
Right.
Like it might be a great story, but if it's like super, super depressing and the whole time you're like, oh my God, this is so depressing. It's like, do I want to see it? And if my answer to that is no, then I don't want to go in a direction where people are not going to want to, they're not going to be pulled into the story,
Yeah, it
so
starts
I
with
don't
you.
know.
If you don't love
For
it, how's
sure.
anybody else going to love it? So,
For sure.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
So what's
I'm
going on with
excited
you,
for you.
Jessica? What do you got?
Thank you.
Oh gosh, I have been being pulled in so many directions.
Mhm.
I'm literally sitting down trying to figure out which direction I actually want to go.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, it's good to have
Yeah.
choices.
Yeah, I've been kind of trying to figure that out at the moment. Yeah, it's coming up and spending the last couple of years kind of exploring different areas, and yeah, I'm like I don't want to say too much at the moment,
All
but
right. Well, let me know if
yeah,
there's
just
anything I can do to help, you know?
yeah, I mean, I'd love to have you out here sometime if you ever want to,
Yeah. I'll get out
write
there
it
to the
off.
West Coast. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
make a trip.
anytime. And if you want to write it off as a business expense, hit me up and we have
There
our
you
show
go.
dates again.
Very smart. Yeah, I'll
I got an
definitely.
accounting. I have a master's in accounting. I mean,
I know.
dude, why
I
do you
know.
think accountants put all the good seminars over in the cool places?
There you go. Very smart. Yeah, I'll look at the second half of the year and see if I can get over there.
Yeah,
It'd
and
be fun.
if I can do a plug too, I mean
Yeah.
the shoot I was on last year is actually through some people I met through my show before I was actually the Artist Alley coordinator.
Right.
When I first moved to San Diego back in 2016, I met these awesome musicians. They ended
Right.
up funding their book that they wrote, that's now a children's book with Simon and Schuster,
Oh,
by
nice.
being
Nice.
musicians.
Hmm.
There's this whole story there, but the shoots I was on was actually the videographer for their puppet show. And I just followed them and
Oh,
the director, and they put out a shout out for some people, and I was like, oh, I'll go. But they're actually Five Echoes.
okay.
Uh, so they're really rad people.
Hmm.
Ryan Joseph, and then there's a guy, Arthur James was one of the directors, but up and
Wow.
coming. I keep an eye out for them.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, I appreciate the two of you coming out and, John with me about stuff that we love, films and creativity, and making positive energy in the world, which the world needs.
For sure.
I think a lot of people were concerned about a lot of things. And at the event I went to last weekend, it was a charity event for DeBoer Heart and Lung, but a horror charity event. But I found that people are hungry for, escape from reality. So it's a good time to be a creative because they need some stories to take them away.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
I
and that's what we do, right?
think I'm gonna go watch maybe 20 movies over the next 6 days just to
Yeah,
escape. I think it's a good idea, Al. Thank you for
yeah,
that. And
yeah.
thank you for having me on this, man. This is really cool, man. It's
Anytime either one of you want to talk, just let me know. I could do this all the time, but I get really busy. But for like when you have something you want to release and you want to get the word out,
yeah,
this will
absolutely.
blast it out on YouTube and you can post it all over the place. So it's pretty good, but it's pretty easy to do. So anytime you need me to throw one up, just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
This
That-
is cool.
That'd be rad. I'm trying to actually, one of the projects work on is some fundraising for nonprofits. So I'm
Yeah.
going to hit you up on that.
Yeah, anytime.
Awesome.
All right. I guess
It's
we'll.
nice meeting you, Jessica,
Nice
and
meeting
talking to you. Yeah, yeah.
You too. Look me up.
Well,
Let's stay in touch.
absolutely, absolutely. Likewise. Al, thanks again, buddy.
Yep.
And I'll be plugging and doing whatever I can to help you get this thing where it needs to be. Not
Yeah,
that you per
appreciate
se
it.
need my help, but it's
Yeah. Well, no,
it's
that's I need all the
it's all
help I
we all
can
help
get.
each other, man. It's
Yeah,
what it's all
yeah.
about. Relationships, man. This whole business is about, you just need one, man. All you need is one.
That's
One
right.
whatever, one song, one movie, one thing pops. I mean, look back in like the 70s, 80s, you have a group.
Mhm.
I won't even pick I mean, you could pick like it doesn't matter, like one hit wonders that came out, and it's just like
Yeah.
that one song like puts somebody on the map.
Yep.
So just that one movie, and so
All right.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Vampires in New Jersey, Indiegogo's up. So go find it and
Sweet.
get some cool stuff, and we'll
Yeah.
make a cool film. And
Absolutely.
yeah, everybody
by
be
a
careful
vampire?
out there. Take care of each other and stay safe.
Sounds
go
good.
Birds.
You too. Yeah, absolutely. Fly Eagles fly, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it this year. We're
Yeah,
better
feels like
this time around. Other than not having Kelsey, we're better,
Feels like
much better team. Yeah, I think so. Our defense is incredible, and our offense is. They're both insane. I feel
You're
scared
such a
for
Philly
Kansas City.
Jersey guy, Craig.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit biased. I am.
Once
Even,
it's in you, it's never coming out.
no. I bleed
I'm the
green
same
all the
way.
way. Yeah, I bleed green all the way. It's gonna be. Listen, Kansas City is Kansas City.
Oh yeah, they're great.
They're an amazing team. So
We'll
it's
give them
gonna
a
be
nice
good
run.
game.
We'll do all right.
Yeah, I think we
All
got
right,
this game
I'll
now.
shut down.
Everybody,
I can hit the
take care,
button
everyone.
again.